Hey, people, what is going on this Halloween last Sunday of October? How's everybody doing on this last Sunday of October, Halloween? A Halloween show. I don't have Halloween stuff up, but you know what I'm talking about. This is Halloween. How's everybody doing on this Sunday? Are we waiting on Kit to show up? How's everybody? Well, our show is going to be about sales. Let's see. Let's see. What is our show going to be? Gonna be about sales or the tax. Oh, the tax talk. I said sales. We're gonna talk about that. Tax talk, breakup of social media technique. That's what we're gonna talk about. I said earlier about sales. Sometimes I forget I run on that stuff off. Oh, here comes Kent. He's in here. Let's go on here. Come on. What's up, man?
Hey, what's up, brother Smith?
Nothing much, man. This here. How's everything going on with you?
Well, everything's going. Everything's going. Did 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 laundry today. You
Oh, I
know.
do that. I do that every Sunday or every Saturday. I did some today too. I changed to Saturday instead of Sunday, but um,
Okay.
I did it earlier. I told the audience that we're gonna talk about a lot of things. Um, we're gonna talk about what happened with Big Social this week and the thing about them taxing the billionaire thing that's in this bill. That's what we're gonna talk about in today's show. What people think about that. You know, already know what I might think about that stuff and how that
Hmm.
and how that really truly works. A lot of people don't uh can do. I'm looking at that. You can now upload multiple files at the same time. Simply hold the command key when selecting files from your computer. You can also drag and drop overlay video clips and backgrounds to reorder them. What's the name? Is this thing is getting more elaborate for stuff
Okay.
um than used to be. So what's going on here? My banner, that's not so we're getting more with why is it not getting okay. Well, okay, this is what I wanted to get done. Okay, people. They did a little bit technical issues. Cass want to ask that. A little bit technical to stay tuned with us. We'll get this show on the road. Okay, folks. There's been a lot of stuff going on in social, on the news, on a lot of different things. And a lot of people are, they're talking about Biden's, what do you call it, his points or whatever falling. I mean, do people really give a shit about that? Not really. How do you think about that? What is that? How does that, what does that got to do with anything we trying to talk about or accomplish?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, we know structures. We know the infrastructures need to be addressed. Everybody knows that, and the majority of Americans are in favor of it. But there are other things that definitely need to be addressed, and it seems like some cities are taking it on, some cities are not, and one of those is police reform, and we're not talking about defunding the police. We're talking about re reforming, and because the majority of those folks, and I see where you say that you're not down with the pro with, with any of the protests that took place over the summer of 2020, because it seems like it's being ignored. for the most part.
Well,
The
my
civil.
my my, my thing has always been, if you're gonna protest is okay, but you just can't keep. I look at history a lot, and people are
Mhm.
people. I don't care if they're black, white, or whatever. And the problem I have with just always doing the same old thing and expecting a different result is really
Exactly.
insanity. Okay.
Mhm.
And the other thing I don't like is that, people, we always got an excuse why we do what we do. It's time for the excuses over. They don't give a shit about you getting mad, you tearing up your own house or your own neighborhood. They're not gonna come fix it. Then you stuck with less than what you had before because you fool enough to get mad and tear up your own mess. So that never has made any sense, and we still got a lot of excuses why we do that. I'm not with it. Okay, I'm not with just talking about voting reform without taking care of one thing that's going to help everything. Okay, the biggest thing that changes everything in our legislation is usually the president. We can talk about all the local stuff all the hell we want. Okay, but when it gets down to what affects everybody is a presidential election. And what we need to start voicing as a people is that we're not down with electors. We want to vote for the candidate that we have for choice and not vote for some people that we have no clue who they are. I'm tired of hearing people talking about electors. I'm tired of talking about, oh, we vote November 2nd, but then the true vote is December 16th. Are you kidding me? A lot of people probably didn't know that. I didn't know that until the election in 2016 when Lawrence O'Donnell explained it.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah. Well, and that's something, as a poli sci man, we were, I mean, even in our, I can remember in our sophomore civics class, it was touched on. Obviously didn't go into detail, but it was touched on, and I remember that. And of course, when I got older in my college years, that's when it was expanded upon how the presidential vote went to the electors and how it was certified, so forth and so on.
This thing they want to. This is what we got to realize, stuff, people. And I've been saying this, and Ken, I've been talking about this for years. Either the politicians don't know, or they don't want to know. The billionaires that they're talking about taxing are the ones that control their salaries. Okay, we are talking about inflation rates and all these things that have happened. The Fed, the Treasury, all those entities that we know of, most people don't know they're not even American. Okay, I'm stepping on
Hmm.
some real toes. Okay,
Hmm.
they're not even
Mhm.
owned by American people.
Mhm.
Country's been bought since the turn when we had Woodrow Wilson in office. If you look it up, look up Woodrow Wilson, 1903. Okay, we can talk about all this other stuff. If we don't understand those type of histories, all this other stuff that we hear don't mean nothing because you don't understand how we got here and it started back there.
Mhm.
Okay, and if you don't have that foundation to understand why the things that are happening now, you're gonna still repeat the same craziness that you've been repeating because somebody in school told you, well, you're supposed to vote, our vote counts. Well, in truth, people, it don't count. I would challenge any politician on this earth and bring them on here and explain to them. You tell me how does our vote count when you got some asses that we know nothing about have to why was it necessary to do a vote in December. If we go bust our ass in November, now we're talking about all this other stuff. See, and then we wait till December for a true vote, and then they do another one in January. Get the fuck out of here with that mess. We either are the people that vote or we're not. There is no gray area. Don't play that gray area bullshit. Not with me. I'm gonna call your ass out. Not with me. Everybody else can sit there and be yes, sir. I ain't doing it. Okay, I am not doing. Don't you can't talk to me about that. When you show me that you got all this,
and that's where,
huh? Go ahead.
I was just going to say, and that's where Trump and his cronies were finding that loophole because of that. If there were any concrete way, saying that, okay, all we're doing is certifying, because all it really is the electors were certifying the election. But Trump was figuring, since I'm still in office, and I'm not out until January 20th, we can do what we can do to disqualify this election.
It's true. Because regardless what was voted at the polls, okay, in November, the truth of the matter is Biden was only, and you notice this even with all the presidents, they're only president-elect. They are not president. They don't have the power of the president. They got to be one president at a time. So when you got somebody like Trump in power that will understand that game, yeah, he can fuck up some shit real bad, like he tried to. And that's where the game of this needs to change, because as people, we sit up there and talk about we voted, but no, we didn't. If it's not certified by the vote of the people, our vote don't mean shit. If we gotta have our vote certified by some people that we don't know who they are, that has to come into question. Okay? We sit up there and talk about voting, but in truth, we sit up there voting blindly, then there's no certification of the vote until December and then January by the damn Congress. I mean, it's bullshit. That's telling me, I don't know how you think, but that's telling me what I do at the polls don't mean shit. Okay? Because
it's antiquated. It's antiquated at best. And and now the whole world knows it.
And to tell people that their vote counts, even on the Democratic side, is being part of the fucked up system, and talking about you care about the people. No, the fuck you don't. If you care about the people, you would be doing something to get rid of that shit. And see, the problem with we as black folks too vote for stuff because we told to, because we got in the habit of doing shit that is not beneficial to nobody, unless you are a billionaire or of that 1%. And see, we gotta understand the people got to bring the politicians to the fold and say, we're tired of y'all bullshit. Why are y'all protecting this system? What are you getting out of it? Okay? We need to talk to both of
them. And believe it or not, when we do go out and vote, every time we vote, we are lending approval to the system with our vote. We're saying, hey, everything's cool.
We accept this bullshit.
Yeah, we're fine with it.
Yeah. Until we start saying this is bullshit, we're not doing this stuff. This is what Dr. Claude Anderson said. He said black people give the Democratic Party their damn vote and they ain't really doing shit. Look what's going on now. Even the former chairman, he said they already had 19 senators that approved on some stuff that they could have put into place and wrote this thing in and gone back and took care of it on the back end. Why the fuck did they do it then? Okay, what's the problem? This makes me question the validity of the presidency now, because we talk about a lot of stuff about how the president is the most powerful leader of the free world. What free world are we talking about? Huh? What free world are we talking about? We sure ain't talking about the United States. See, COVID in a lot of ways was a good thing to wake people to fuck up about what's going on, and probably even Trump's election was a good thing to wake people the fuck up about what's going on. But if we don't do nothing about it, we're gonna sit there and repeat the same bullshit and then complain about, oh, why are we in Scruton and not kids? And then we're gonna see that some bitch back in office because we don't say shit. Just like I complain about why are we paying taxes, even as a working class? There's a whole lot of things I ask questions about, and nobody wants to. Everybody, when you start doing ad stuff, that kind of stuff, especially when you in so-called higher learning, that means you only concerned about your damn paycheck. I know everybody needs to get paid and all that, but when you part of the problem with all this shit, then and it's like that one lady who was on Trump's team during the COVID thing was talking about how the bullshit that he was saying, but she didn't say nothing while she was when he was president. I hate people. If you're gonna say something, then don't come with that bullshit after the fact. It don't matter. I don't want to hear it. I don't have no respect for buybacks. People, if you're gonna say something, say something. Don't come to me with that mess after the fact. This thing too, I've been hearing. Okay, I had mentioned this once before. What's your thoughts about this? Facebook changing their name to Meta. The fuck that's supposed to mean?
I mean, if they're gonna change it, why leave it on the app, still Facebook, and as a corporate structure, it's Meta. That's still.
Let's go back. Let's go back to some history.
I wouldn't have changed it. In my opinion, I wouldn't have changed it.
Let's go back to some history. Amway. Remember what they did? 1999 to 2000.
Yes.
Everybody who
Quickstar.
Amway. Remember the term, the company Quickstar? It's the same
Quickstar, yep.
Damn thing that Amway tried to do, because there was a negative connotation to Amway out there back then. They kind of still is. But the problem was people were trying to, well, what's Quickstar? And then people caught on, well, this is just Amway Online. Amway has been a brand name for 62 years. Just because some bitches don't like the company, don't like this or that way, the hell with them. The people that got problems with Facebook, get the fuck off. See, the problem with people in the working class people too is they don't understand money, they don't understand business. You gotta let's look back in the history with Facebook. When Facebook started out in 2004, it was just a platform on a college campus. Okay, Facebook became $1 billion entity less than 10 years, less than 15 years, because of the infrastructure of the internet, because you had investors. You had an 18-year-old Jewish kid had an idea, and some savory and unsavory investors came aboard and said, I want a piece of it. Now, what he gonna say? They throwing money at him. They're talking about taking his company globally. It's gonna make him the youngest, probably one of the youngest
Right.
billionaires at that time. What you gonna do? What
Right.
would you say? See, this is what the press doesn't put out there to talk about. That's what I feel like my job is to do, because I pay attention to certain things in the industry and I see what's going on. Well, most people just sit up there like, oh well, yeah, I'm gonna fade, but everybody just selling pictures and all that other stuff. I'm in business, and
Right.
when you're in business, you have to pay attention to business that are around you. Pay attention into what's happening. To me, if the leaders, the so-called leaders in network marketing, I'm gonna tell you from all the sorts of them, don't pay attention to that shit. They think it don't affect them, but yet they use these platforms. That's the arrogance, the ignorance, or whatever else you want to call it, that we get caught up in. And a young cat like Zuckerberg got money thrown at him, and maybe some other things that he had no choice of doing or not have the company at all. Okay, that's how these traditional business do stuff. When you got that much money, that much potential, and people want a piece of it. Now, the algorithm bit. This is why I'm gonna get into that. In the 70s, they had a program, I can't think of the name of it. They were talking about commercials, subliminal messages, people. Okay? They talked about how commercials sent subliminal messages to you to get hungry for a Big Mac, like McDonald's or whatever comes on. They send subliminal messages that you don't even notice to make you hungry to go get Big Mac or whatever. Algorithms ain't no different than that. They talking about the algorithms, how they went towards hate groups and doing stuff, or whatever. They find out what interests you. What's the same thing what happened back then in the 70s and 60s? They said the subliminal messages, young people about, McDonald's. McDonald's was a big thing back then to make people hungry, Burger King, or whatever. Same tactics. But we want to be two-faced, double-faced about what ain't no different than what Facebook has done than what they did in the 70s. Ain't no different. Subliminal, they just changed the name. Yeah, subliminal message. Now we're talking about digital algorithms. Ain't no different.
Right.
The same tactics, the same moves, the same strategies. But a lot of y'all don't know that because y'all weren't born, or you were just a weed on your daddy's knee. You might not even been that. See, my Uncle Russell told me, ain't nothing new under the sun. They're just changing the mask with the same bullshit. And that's all it's been doing. We just got better. We just got better technology. Everybody was always talking about how they're tracking you with the virus vaccine. Motherfucker, if they wanted to track you, they'd have tracked you from the daytime you came out your mama's womb. Okay? Let's be real. If they wanted to do this and that, the time that you started working with a Social Security number, they got you.
Oh yeah.
Okay?
Oh yeah.
They already got you. So all that bullshit that you talk about that mess that y'all talk about, then if they really wanted to do something, they could do it, and there not be a damn thing you'd be able to do about it. Okay, so it's a lot of things that are going on that people that need to learn to discern. The tax thing ain't gonna make no difference what they do, even if it's 2 cents. Okay, if this is what people, I've been saying this and been saying this and been saying this forever. Get off the W-2. The W-2, where you make money, is keeping you broke. You'll never get ahead. Even I'm not even talking about not talking about even want to be a billionaire or not. The more that you pay taxes through the way you work is gonna keep you behind the 8 ball. Okay? I don't know why people there are people, we had a comrade talk this shit about well, everybody can't be a businessman. Well, that's bullshit because everybody taking their ass to go to a job. Why can't they be a businessman? Today, yes, you can. It ain't that they can't. It's easier than ever before with technology, people. I keep harping about technology because this shit ain't going nowhere. It's going to be moving forward. Changing Facebook, or even as Elizabeth Warren had talked about, breaking up big tech. Not even the Federal Trade Commission is going to do that because they're owned by the big wigs that funded Facebook. People. The Democrats ain't going to tell you that shit. They just whining and talking a lot of shit because you got a bunch of World War II people that coming up in Congress. They still don't understand the internet or the technology that well. Facebook is so entrenched in our daily lives, it would probably shut down our economy if they try to break it up. This ain't like Mall Bell back before the internet and social media. Okay? Facebook is more than just a building, an entity. Facebook is a lot of zeros and ones that are internet are entrenched in every aspect of what we do online, from banking to investment to all that. How you gonna break that up? That's Facebook. Okay, that's Facebook. The building don't mean shit. You ain't gonna break up that when it's all entrenched in that. Facebook is the zeros and ones. When I'm talking about zeros and ones, computer software, people, information. You can't, once this stuff is like this, you'd have to destroy the total internet, and they ain't gonna do that. That's another thing they don't want to talk to the public about. What's your thoughts on this, Kent?
Yeah, anything like J.D. Rockefeller and it was Standard Oil at the time, or anything like General Electric, or any entities like that, or before AT&T. See, you and I remember AT&T was like the communications company,
right,
during the late 70s, early 80s, and then the government broke that up. Then you had MCI. Then you had then later Sprint came along, and then all these other little companies that broke off from AT&T. AT&T is still here though, but it's not the mammoth that it was back in the day. But anything like Facebook, Twitter, you can't, because it's more than just brick and mortar.
Right. What came along? The internet. So with that breaking up, all they developed was more people to monopolize the market, because you had another infrastructure put in place called the internet and social media. So for them to talk about breaking up Facebook as a utility to this, that, all you're gonna do is monopolize other markets. So they might as well just leave it alone. Either, and what I can see Mark Zuckerberg doing is saying, fuck it, I'm gonna sell the company. I've made my billions and get the fuck out of it. Sell it to somebody else, and they do something whatever they want to do it. That's what business people do. He'll go into something else, maybe start another company. This is the game, people. I didn't create the game. I understand the game. This is what these motherfuckers do. And for us, the politicians and all them, to talk the shit that they talk is ridiculous. It's ignorant in the sense that because they don't understand what's happening, and they're not going to tell you history. It's your job as a people to read history and find out what truly the hell is going on, because the Democrats keep in power because they work on really trying to they work on a fear base also. The Republicans just don't give a fuck. They're gonna tell you, we're gonna do this, and if you dig it, do. If you don't, that's your problem. See, the power of the Democrats, they work on this and that to keep you coming back for their vote,
Oh,
tell you this and all these other shits.
I
Go
got
ahead.
I got to share this. I got to share this.
What?
I saw this. I saw this meme on Facebook, no doubt, and the Republicans. They had the Republicans, and then a load of shit, just a plain load of shit.
Uh-huh.
Okay, and there it was just right there, plain as day. Well, with the Democrats, it had this gold lace box, all with wrappings and trimmings and so forth. But you took off but through the box, you could see it was like a see-through box, and through the see-through box, you could see that it was shit inside. So
Now,
I was like, oh wow.
this is politics. Hey, I got like in the third Godfather with Andy Garcia when he talked to Lucchese, he said finance and politics, these things I don't understand. Godfather, he said, politics ain't nothing but, he said, finance ain't nothing but a gun. He said politics is knowing when to pull the trigger. Now I can take that way you want to. Okay? That is so apropos today, more so than any time. That came out of that movie back in 1992 or 93. So, people,
Yeah, I think you're right.
be awoke about what's going on. Don't just vote cause these motherfuckers talking about vote. Voting is how they make their money. It's a game, people. It's a game. On both sides is a game. Why is it taking so long for them to make a decision about something that they voted on and they had Republican people that were with them and they still dick fucking around with it? Come on. Black people, don't be so into what you think you did to get him the vote. Honestly, I don't think it was black people that got Biden into the White House. I don't even think it's black women. Because if you look at the whole structure of the vote, like I just said, that's what they want you to believe. The powers that be got tired of Trump's bullshit, and they were losing money because of the COVID. If it wasn't for COVID, Trump would be still president. Let's look at this stuff the way we want, what we should be looking at. We that economically powerful or politically powerful enough to have put Trump or to put Biden in the White House. I'm sorry. I know I'm probably stepping on a lot of people's toes on this shit, but y'all got to look at this shit from the real deal on what's happening and how politics run. Politics runs on economics. If you don't control enough economics in your communities, you don't control enough political power, don't get it twisted thinking that you had a say-so in this election. Okay? I don't give a shit what Stacey Abrams says. I don't give a shit what really none of them say. For the simple fact, the problem is this is an economic game. We can talk all this shit about this and that. Even your local elections are an economic game, people. Everything is based on economics. This is like I was talking about. There was a thing online the other day. People talking about why people are scared about, doing sales. I said, because people think of sales as the old, greedy salesman, car salesman coming to trick them or whatever, or the one that door-to-door type of thing. That's the idea of sales that most people have. And when you talk about sales, people get all jittery and okay? That's why in network marketing, you hear people talking about, well, I'm going to share you some information. No, motherfucker, you're going to sit trying to sell us something. Be it passively or straight to your face. It's all about sales, people. Okay? Sales don't have to be about an economic transaction. That's part of it. Okay. Sales can be about getting you to understand certain things. Don't get the term sales out, messed up. My attitude about sales came from this book I've had 20-some years by this guy named Joe Pesci. Joe and Don Pesci, P-I-C-I. It's called Selling or Sell Naked on the Phone. Basically, he says from a IBO number to a link, everything you do is all based around sales. Everything. Contrary to what you think or want to think, everything. I just got a blog out too today, or put out this week, and this title is all about sales, people. All about sales. You can go read it on GregorySmith.online because it's there. Let me see. It's all about that. That's where you can go read about it right there in that on the lower third. That's where the this week's blog. And if you're on my list, let me see where. If you're not on my list, you can get on my list at GregorySmith.online/newsletter. Get that information. You get a personal link to the blog that's released on Friday. So, people, that's where we are at in today's market. I think the last live, we're going to take a break on the 21st of November coming up. It's going to be the last live Sunset Sunday. We're going to take a break till June or January. I'm not sure what January something, but that's when we're going to take a break. But the last live Facebook, last live Sunset Sunday will be on the 21st of November coming up. We'll probably be running a lot of replays of the year's best shows that we've had. Somebody wanted to see the one I had with Rudy Smith, so that'll probably be the first one. But that's going to be the Sunday. That's going to be the Sunday right before Thanksgiving. So, but people, that's where we're at today. I don't know what to tell you. We are in a situation that people think that they're gonna, I don't believe any of that stuff. Breaking up Facebook is gonna make any damn difference, or changing the name. Like I said, Amway tried to do the same thing. It had to go back to the name Amway because it was such embedded in the marketplace, whether it was negative or not. It's still a brand. If you want to change your brand, change your strategies and advertise something more of value. That's the only way you're going to change your brand. You can't change your brand by the name and in inventing a corporate head structure like it's going to make a difference. That's what Amway tried to do with Altacore. I think they still use Altacore, but they try to do it with an online entity called Quickstart. That went over like a busted balloon. Okay?
I don't even think, if I remember correctly, I don't even think Quickstart, the name Quickstart lasted even 5 years because it just wasn't bankable in that aspect.
Everybody knew what it was. Even when they try to sponsor and market, everybody knew it was Amway on the internet. That was when Amway was like everything was going on the internet between 99 and 2000. And they tried to change their reputation. The reputation needed to change because the way they did business needed to change. That was the problem. And they had to do a whole lot of restructuring how they did stuff because the game of the internet was changing the way we interacted, how we did business, and all that stuff. Same where we are today with social media, and Facebook changing all that stuff ain't gonna make that much of a difference. I don't care what they try to do. I laughed when I heard it. Cause I said, I remember this shit when it happened. On when it happened on with Amway. So it wasn't a big deal to me that they were trying to do this. I just laughed about it. So it's a crazy situation. Did you go out trick-or-treating, man?
What? Yeah.
Huh?
No.
I forgot that it was trick-or-treat Thursday and hit the lights on was outside. And I heard this ding dong. I said, oh shit, they're them little critters. So I turned the light off. Turned the light off.
Yeah.
They didn't nobody else come by. And they haven't out here like that in years. Nobody does that shit anymore. Trick or treat ain't it's not what it used to be. My mother didn't remember that we used to go trick or treating. It was on Halloween too. They started changing that stuff when started snatching bags and doing crazy stuff. And then right when I was getting older, I was like, I ain't doing this stuff no more. So then they started making it earlier and all this. And like, man, they just messed it up.
I would have thought you would have never gone out trick or treating, especially if it was a little cooler than what you might expect. So you surprised me right there.
Well, it wasn't like when I was coming up, the weather wasn't crazy. Not in Columbus. See, you lived in Lima. Y'all got all that butt fuck cold shit coming out of the lake and all that shit. Y'all ain't got no buildings or nothing. So no wonder I wouldn't have gone trick-or-treating up there. No. No, I wouldn't have gone there. No. So, it's you guys have to take a perspective of where you lived at and everything. Mostly when I got in my teenagers, we dressed up, but we went to parties. After high school, we went to parties and in college, we dressed like the whole martial arts clan down at OU. We busted up a whole party. People partied the daggone party like the Red Sea. We looked like we came out of Shaw Brothers. They're like, oh shit, who in the hell are these guys? So it was a different time period than now. Now, we had people put razor blades in apples. There was some more jacked up people back then. A friend of mine got his right in the neighborhood. Friend of mine got his bag snatched because of them fools at them Maryland apartments coming over here doing their stuff. And they tried to snatch mine until I told them I said, if you don't want your skull to see the light of day, you better leave me the hell alone. I was like, I want playing that. You ain't gonna snatch nothing here. I remember they stole a pumpkin my mother put out. She had carved it and everything. That's when it started going downhill. But
okay. Yeah.
It's a crazy situation now. God, next week at this time, well, it'll be like 7 o'clock. We'd be just starting because we're gonna fall back.
Right. That's right. It will be the fall fall back weekend.
Yep, standard daylight
Mhm.
saving time is going back to standard time, fall back. Yeah, we lose an hour of daylight and we gain an hour of sleep, but you know, well, that's for you guys that gotta go wake up and go to the job though. You know, I ain't trying to, you know, and then oh, you just give me the finger.
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
But you know, it's just a crazy.
I should have now. I should have now.
See? But you know, hey, it's like I told people, the reason why I got the home-based business wasn't to be going. You know, it's just I wanted my time back from. I didn't want to go there. I got tired of bosses. I got tired of telling them out. You gotta be here if you're a minute late. We're gonna dock you 30 minutes or half an hour and shit. You know, stuff like that. Y'all fucking crazy.
Mhm. That is foul crazy.
A minute, they're gonna dock your pay 20 minutes for a minute. That's fighting words. That's enough to
Mhm.
throw somebody through a damn glass wall. I ain't doing that shit. Fuck y'all. You know, I don't know how all y'all feel. That's where I've come from. And I can't say that for where everybody else, but I'm just giving you my story, part of my story where I've come from and all this stuff. The craziness is that's still going on because people didn't do the right thing back in history and then understanding, like we're talking about, you know, they want to tax billionaires for stuff to pay for this infrastructure thing. Okay. But you need to understand who controls all this stuff. And to go and say that you're stepping on some very sensitive toes in this game of politics and money. It's not a game to be messed around with because you think you can. Today, they do not care if you're surrounded by FBI, CIA, or whatever. Okay? Them fools, if they want to, they'll take out everybody around you and who's there gonna take the ride. That's just fact. They do not care. And this is where all this stuff about this totalitarian shit that's coming down. My personal thing, they should have probably just rat-a-tat-tat them fools. That is sent the message to everybody. Okay, you know, I'm not understanding why the state police wasn't around there to handle that. It makes you think that there were some people that were involved with that, even within the government. There's always Capitol Police around here, always. And with that shit happening around, there's something with that stuff. Something just didn't settle right with me with it, and that sounds like it was done on purpose to get something jumped off. Well, personally, I'd have shot them something. I wouldn't have been just carrying no 9mm. Okay. So that's stupid. I wouldn't take no job like that you get that type of. It's stupid. If they don't watch it, they're gonna have the same damn thing happen again. But maybe worse. But it's just politics to me is a dirty business. I don't care who's in it.
Oh yeah, it's a game, and it's only the best can master it. And I'm just, you know, speaking as a poli sci man, the most masterful politicians that I have seen in any area of time, I would have to. My top 5 would be Lincoln. Would be it had he lived. But I think this was more so of his father than him himself. But but he did get his political skills honed. Kennedy,
That's why they were
um,
killed.
I would
You hear me?
say, I would say Johnson, Lyndon Johnson. I would say Lyndon Johnson too. Bill Clinton. I mean, with at his trial when he said when it depends on what your definition of is. I'm like, oh my goodness.
Somebody,
He nailed
somebody
it.
didn't like that because they probably wanted that chick, and she went over to him, and they got pissed off about it. Said, well, let's impeach him. They need to change the name of the term impeachment. It don't mean shit.
Mm-hmm.
Impeachment, what does it mean? Really, come on,
Especially
people.
now, you know.
Trump got
Especially
called impeached twice. He don't
twice.
Yeah, twice.
Mm-hmm.
So what does it mean? Oh, because you got a blot on their record. People ain't praised by no blot on their record. They tell you and your record to go fuck yourself. Don't nobody give a shit about no damn record. There ain't nobody with their moral bullshit.
I mean, the only asterisk that really makes a difference, as far as I've seen, and that's a major league baseball, because when Roger Maris hit his 61st home run, they said, well, when Ruth did it, was so they didn't want to give Roger Maris the single home run record because of some technicality, and they put beside that 61, they put an asterisk, and he after he hit it, his career was never the same after that. I mean, he played a few more years, but it just wasn't the same until, of course, later on in the years when McGwire and Sammy Sosa and Barry Bonds broke the record. But that was before we knew about any of the quote unquote the steroid era came out.
There's always somebody that don't like somebody doing better than what they've done.
Mm-hmm.
They're still trying to discredit Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee been dead almost 50 years, and there's still white boys online today, so-called martial artists. Yeah, I'm calling you fuckers out. I've been martial arts 40 years. They're still trying to say Bruce Lee had never had a damn fight. They only consider real fights. A lot of them always talking about this MMA shit. Fuck MMA. You hear me? Any of y'all with it? Fuck MMA. MMA ain't nothing but a bunch of drunken ass white boys at the time, because it was nothing but a tough man contest at the time. It turned to the MMA. What?
No, I was gonna say I can say this. If it wasn't for Bruce Lee and Jimmy Lee and other artists at that time, you can put Chuck Norris in there too if you want. There would be no MMA without those guys.
Yeah, MMA wouldn't exist, but MMA had nothing to do with what Bruce Lee did. MMA, as I said, was a marketing ploy, and is an oxymoron in his name, mixed martial arts. As I always say, martial arts is plural for all martial arts. The mixed martial arts was nothing but a bunch of like big time wrestling, bunch of redneck, drunken fools.
Yep. I used to love that shit.
That's what MMA was. They got a bunch of people used to have these tough man contests here in Ohio, in Columbus, and everywhere. Bunch of rednecks from the white redneck side of town. They did. And then they found out, oh, we can make money. So if we upgrade and upscale it and try to train some of these fools, get them off some of them alcohol, drugs, or whatever. That's all it was. You look at some of these folks that came in here, but they want to attach Bruce Lee's name.
Oh yeah.
they wanted to attach Bruce Lee's name to it because he dabbed in a lot of different martial arts. But he only took what was useful in any martial art. And he didn't call it any name. He didn't even want to name his style Jeet Kune Do just for the fact people wanted to call it a style. It wasn't even a style. It was a concept that can fit with any type of martial art. But you got so many damn hill jacks out here want to say, "Oh, he never fought, and he's not like so and so." A tournament, I fought in tournaments. Tournaments are controlled. That's bullshit. I fought in the street. Ain't no rules in the street. If I take a brick to your head and I crack your skull, that's martial art. Okay? There ain't no rules in the street. So now y'all need to get off of that mess. Truly. Okay? It ain't no rules in the street, people. There's rules in tournaments. There's rules in MMA. There's rules even in the jiu-jitsu Gracie type stuff. Okay? That's what a lot of y'all got to understand. See, a lot of y'all ain't, when Bruce Lee was at his height, y'all weren't even itching your daddy's pants. You got all these people talking about, could Bruce Lee beat so-and-so, what was it, Tyson. Tyson wasn't even itching his daddy's pants. Tyson was a little weak.
No.
Y'all
Right.
come up with all these ignorant ass slogans and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm about a couple of months older than Mike Tyson and Bruce Lee. I was 6 when Bruce Lee died.
I was 14 when Bruce Lee died.
Okay.
Okay. I don't care. See, Bruce Lee, I talked to Danny Inosanto. I had a discussion with him when I lived in LA. Me and my roommate ran into him in Marina Del Rey, because they had a Marina Del Rey school. He said, what you saw on the screen was not anything like what this dude could do in real life. At a man that weighed only between 120 and 140 soaking wet and hit like a 230 pound heavyweight, what you think he would do to somebody like, if he tagged Tyson going to sleep?
Yeah.
Okay? I don't give a fuck what did it. Tyson will go to sleep. Anybody is going to go to sleep. Okay? If James Coburn, actor, said he would hit a 300-pound, he would kick a 300-pound bag and make it swing up at 140 pounds, 300, who you think he going to kick? Who? He would devastate anybody like that. If he could kick a 300-pound bag and make it swing up, he'll knock a 340-pound dude through a wall.
Right.
Or anybody like that. So all you fuckers that are out here talk all that shit about, well, Bruce Lee didn't do this, y'all kiss my ass. Really. Y'all don't know what the hell y'all talking about. Y'all can take Chuck Norris, all them tournament fighter motherfuckers out there, don't mean shit. Really. Tournaments never impressed me. Because when we went in tournaments, we went in the tournament specifically to knock them out. Okay? We were trained by people that were special forces. I was never trained for fighting tournaments. That tournaments kissed my ass on that shit. I didn't even give a damn about tournaments. I come from the street doing that shit. So we didn't give a damn about no damn tournaments. We didn't give a shit about no hip pond. Nobody's gonna say that shit when they cracking your skull on the street. Who gives a fuck about hip hop? We didn't do that. So I got tired of all that. I get tired of hearing seeing all that ridiculous shit. That's why I had to get off of some of them damn things. I said, y'all don't know what the hell y'all talking about. Trying to put up and just like Michael J. White. Michael J. White talk a lot of shit. When he said, well, I could have taken Bruce Lee. No, you could have taken Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee would wipe your ass up on the floor. Hey, there's never going to be another Bruce Lee. Okay? Give credit where credit is due. Like I said, I talked to some of them people that trained with him. So y'all, if you ain't training, if you weren't around, if you was just itching your daddy's pants, y'all need to shut the fuck up, really. All y'all out there talking that shit. I know we got off a subject, but that's just part of my story, my life in business and how I run business and everything. I don't do this stuff just to be talking shit about something, but I do it because I know I've been around it and I can back the shit up with it. Okay, because I got proof, I got literature, I got all that kind of stuff. Okay, and people just love to, I don't know. And just like in business, we people, if you're gonna be in business, be in business. Okay, there's still too many leaders. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, what's that line that Jay-Z's got one of his songs? Like, I'm a business man. You
Oh,
know,
yeah,
I mean,
I heard about it, but that's another subject. I,
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
talking to my mom.
I'm not a. I'm not a. Don't get me wrong. I've never been a Jay-Z fan. I think his rap game is average at best. But as a businessman, I gotta give him. I gotta give him his props. And
Well,
I'll
as
just
a
leave it at that.
businessman, yeah, I'll give him his props as a businessman because as a businessman,
Yeah.
he realized he couldn't do that forever. Okay, there's gonna be some old
Right.
young dumb, and this so-called rap ain't nothing but a bunch of mumbling motherfuckers out here that they want to call rap. They fucked up rap when it came into the 90s, and they let the gringo sell them out in their community and turn it into that trash shit that they got out now. And it's really got. I ain't with none of them artists. Nicki Minaj, all that shit, all that cartoon music, all that fucked up music. Nah. They fucked up my favorite radio station, WBLS in New York, when they jumped on board with that bullshit.
WBLS signed off on it. Huh?
Oh yeah, back then. I think they're moving away from it now because I think that music's about really kind of dying. Want to watching a lot of shit on music today. They're going kind of back to real music because people are tired of that I'm gonna just say it, that nigga shit. Okay, it ain't black music. People understand something. There's a difference between black music and nigga music. Okay, there is. There's a difference. That shit was nigga music. Okay, I'd rather go back to black music. I'm tired of all that nigga shit because that's what it's become. Go ahead.
Well, my daughter, she teases me sometimes because I always say, even though I grew up on rap, I always thought coming up, I said I'm a '70s kid because to me the '70s were the most creative, were the most in my lifetime. The '70s was the best music all around. I mean, any genre of music, you can pick it. The '70s, in my mind, the '70s was the best era in music.
Well, when I grew up,
Some people say Motown. I gotta give Motown props too.
Motown was a little bit. Motown was a little bit ahead of my time because I was a little kid in the '60s. For any influence in music was the mid '70s to the early to mid '80s, and then part of the late '80s, early to mid '90s. That was my music influences. Okay, the house music from that time, or for mid '80s, you say disco. Then '80s, it was the British dance genre, and then from the mid '80s to the early '90s and mid '90s, it was all the house type stuff. That's what I grew up with. All that shit before then, I don't relate to. Okay, I don't relate to it at all. I mean, I remember some of them, but that's not my influence in music. Never has been. Okay, so I was never a big Motown. Maybe some people might say, "Well, you just too white." No, maybe I know. I grew up with Latin music. I grew up with Latin music from the Fania All Stars. That was the '70s to now. So I grew up with that. I was never.
Well, the group War had a heavy Latin influence to it.
Who?
The group War. You remember? They did the Lowrider and Cisco Kid.
Oh, that yeah. There's a little Latin pop, I guess you want to call it back then. Yeah, I
I mean,
remember War.
they weren't straight out Latin now, of course,
No,
but yeah, they had some Latin influence into it.
um, but that was my influence. Plus, you know, the early '70s of martial arts and the all through the '70s, the martial arts genre through the '80s. That was all those. That's what shaped my whole persona about a lot of stuff. Okay, that's where I come from. I don't know what the fuck this shit is going now. I really don't. I don't think a lot of these people got any real thing. The things that influence a lot of these kids now is just not. It ain't too. It's not that cool because they just got a lot of. They got a lot of. There's a lot of bullshit out there, and it seems like a lot of these artists. If you notice, there's a lot of online influencers have been dying lately. YouTubers or Instagram influencers, they've been dropping dead or dying or something. Have you noticed that?
I haven't noticed it that much as you have, but I have seen a few that have, for whatever reason. I mean, they're the flavor of the month for like 3 months, 3 or 4 months straight, and then after that, you never hear from them again.
I get this on my phone. I get this thing called Smart News, and maybe that's why I hear a lot of different things that you may not. It's an app. I mean, I get news from stuff they don't even hardly mention on regular mainstream stuff, especially
Yes,
about
yes.
about those influencers dying. I was like, what damn? Why are these cats dying like they are? Like every time you turn around,
Mm.
there's somebody in the last month or so. Somebody's been dying. You hear the White House press secretary got COVID?
Oh,
Uh,
did she?
yeah, I think somebody
I didn't know that.
it just announced today. Somebody in her family had it, and that's probably how she got it. I don't know.
Okay.
I got a I got a flu shot last week. Didn't have no problem.
You?
Yeah,
But you
but
said you're not one to get the flu shot.
no, I didn't. And when I look back of that time, I had a reaction. I got it from like some like Walmart or CVS. I said I don't want to get one from there. I got it from my primary doctor this time. I didn't
Okay,
even
I
have a
got you.
sore. I didn't even have a sore arm or nothing.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, if I get one, I usually get it from my PCP. I don't go on the CVS or any drugstore to get it.
yeah,
I said might as well get one.
yeah. I had a cap removed too. From an old root canal because the cap got loose. So they
Oh,
just took it out. They took it out
okay.
way back. You can't even see it. It's way back there. That cap was for root canal. I had that done I didn't even know you. That was like in 2003. I was like in my 40s
Okay.
and stuff. So um, I got to go back there for them to finish cleaning on Thursday. But other than that, you know, but looks like we passed the hour. I know we went on some different topics. Um, just added some different things, but hey, you don't have to believe anything we say. But like we have a lot of things that are going on. We're in this program right now that you can join, even though we're going in the fifth week. It's a
Still plenty of
8-week
time.
course. It's an 8-week course on how
Yep.
to do affiliated marketing. Joining now, you can actually get all the recordings. Doesn't matter if you didn't join from the beginning, because like I said, you get all the recordings that you missed. You get a whole month of free coaching from the training system that this thing has. Okay. So you'll get that kind of stuff. And everybody needs a system. Most network marketing companies don't have a true system that teaches you online marketing. If you're in network marketing, this is what me and Kent's group is about, our business model. We don't try to emphasize about prospecting, because prospecting to me in the digital age doesn't work. I'm gonna be honest. There's a lot of people out here want to say that prospecting works, or how they want to say it. Well, it all works. No, it all don't work. If it all worked, we wouldn't be having all these different programs.
Right. Everybody we talk to would
Yeah.
be
If it all worked,
would be
there'd be
doing
no
something.
need. There were no need for all this stuff. So I don't know why some of these leaders always talking about they get into this thing that, well, it all works. Because people jump aboard things because they think they see one person that's making a lot of money, they think it's the right thing to do. Somebody else does the same thing. So everybody jumps on the bandwagon because they think that's the right thing to do. No, it ain't the right thing to do. I'm kind of getting a little disappointed with a lot of folks, because there's not a lot of originality going on in business today. And to me, there's a lot of talk based off of what somebody else saying as the truth, not as what the truth is based off of their experience. I don't know if you've noticed that, Kent.
Yeah, and you get to a point where everything starts to sound the same, and you don't want to be the one that's too cool for school, but you know what you and I have been in this long enough that you know what you know as well, and
Yeah.
uh, when you've heard the same old axioms being said over and over again, and like you said, what the very definition of insanity is doing or saying the same thing over and over again and hoping the result would be different.
Yeah, it's not being too cool for school. It's being aware of the same stuff. And contrary to what everybody want to think, when everybody starts saying the same thing and there's no originality, and we talk about attraction marketing, well, who's going to be how you going to attract people and everybody else is saying the same thing? Attraction marketing should be about each individual's thought, and quit worrying about what somebody else think. Let that thought that you come from attract the right people towards you. We hear them say that, but when it's applied in action, that's not what they do. I think people got too comfortable. It's just like diamonds and emeralds in Amway. They slack off. Everybody's talking about, well, everything working. The plan is the plan. Well, if the plan was such a big damn thing, how come you ain't moved from Emerald since I've known you to now? If the plan was the thing, if the business model that you did was the thing, how come you ain't moved? How come you ain't moved up? Because the strategies that people keep implementing get old. The market kind of gets saturated. And when everything's going on the same way, okay, then the market's going to gradually change. And that's why that was one thing about Don Storms. Don Storms seemed to always keep his ear on what was truly going on in the market, what was truly going on in business. He didn't, too many times in network marketing, it gets to be a cultural thing, and just because what
Would you
everybody
would,
else is doing, go ahead.
would you say it can get kind of? Would you say it can get to be cliquish as well?
Yeah, it gets cliquish. It gets to be a cult type of thing because people
Hmm.
get comfortable with all that saying because you got one. Okay, you get the flavor of the month or the flavor of the year, and we got that going on with training system. Don't get me wrong about the training system. The training system is great, but I think the training systems now have more evolved towards people new coming in. What do you think?
Uh, yeah, you're not the only one that's noticed that. I have noticed that as well, and I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with that. You want to be who you are, so to speak, in reference to that. But if we're so into getting folks into being in business being in business for themselves, we just can't tell them that, well, you've got to keep prospecting and and all that, because I mean, to me when I hear prospecting, I keep hearing as as the term back in the day, like you're prospecting like you're prospecting for gold. And
Yeah,
if we know how prospecting was back in the day, we would not do that,
no.
because prospecting is hard work for very little return on your investment.
It's a tedious strategy that really in today's market is antiquated and outdated and has no place in the market. There's too many people today still think that that thing works, especially with the onset of COVID. They really are really out of touch to think that they want to think because you use the internet that there ain't prospecting. You can prospect on
Hmm.
the internet. All it is chasing people down about your business. You just ain't out in the damn world meeting people in coffee shops or hotel meetings and all that kind of shit. That's the difference. I don't prospect people for my business. Okay. I do one or two things. I network with people online. I almost talk about this. This one guy, and I did a short video on it. This one cat befriended me, and I get this all the time. Befriended me on Facebook,
Hmm.
okay? And I asked him, I said, okay, what, you don't. Well, I said, what made you connect with me on Facebook? He said, well, internet marketing. Okay, that was kind of vague, but
Hmm.
I said, well,
Hmm.
I noticed that you are a runner also. And then I said, I guess you looked at my profile. His reply was, well, if you're going to test me about that, we don't need to be connected. And then he got off of mad. I asked him some legitimate questions. He got all pissed off and just disconnected. I didn't even accept him as a friend on Facebook. I just went through Instant Messenger and contacted him that way. See, I always tell people, like Larry Winter said, qualified people to spend time with you, qualified those to even be on your timeline or on your friends list. Always qualified people. People take up your space. People waste your time because
Hmm.
again, there's too many people out here in network marketing, internet marketing, attraction, all these kind of things. All they care about is pushing that dollar. I don't mind that neither. But as we said
Right.
that this is a relationship business, why the fuck would you just it's like, well, there's some guys that are like that. All they care about is getting that ass with women. I'm just be
Hmm.
raw. Okay. So some guys will treat their business the same way they would treat a woman. They don't try to get to know her. All they want to do is that's it. Okay.
Right.
There's no relationships, no nothing.
Yeah.
Don't come to me.
I had a I had someone. I mean, yeah, we were. She had followed me, and I had followed her back, and nothing was, nothing transpired or anything. And this is on my Instagram. Well, all of a sudden, about a couple of weeks ago, she says, "Hello, how are you?" And I was wondering if you would mind going into business and doing making some money together. And I'm like, huh?
Out of the blue, right
Just
out of the
out of the
blue.
blue, yeah, right out of the blue. So I ignored the message. I'm like, no,
Yeah,
you gotta come back. I mean, at least say, dog, how you doing today, so forth and so on, and let's strike up a conversation.
yeah.
And yeah, we can see if there's any mutual interest. Hey, great. If it is, great. If not, you know,
But they don't
let's just
understand
let's.
that.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of people online are ignorant to the fact that business is a relationship business, regardless what business you're in, and don't try to get into bed with me without trying to understand whether I want to be in bed with you. And I don't mean literally,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm just talking about as a business,
Yeah. Yeah.
you don't
Right.
just do that shit. And they don't understand
Right.
anything. They're always in a hurry to push their product or service because
Right.
you got these people think because they're internet marketers or network marketers or whatever online, and if they see that in your profile that you got something in common. Yeah, if that's the only thing we got in common, okay. But if you ain't got nothing else to talk about, you ain't got much in common. It's like any
There.
relationship, you
There
gotta
you
have
go.
certain things in common to make that
Yeah.
relationship move forward. Other than that, it ain't
Yeah.
going nowhere.
And what's the concept that gets talked about in MLSP, which is smart. You have to build, then engage,
Engage
then sell.
and then sell. They're not even building. They just trying to sell right off. They
Right.
skip from the building and engagement right to the sale. If you
Hmm.
don't, you gotta build that relationship. It's not, and I'm not a big thing on the trust like concept. That's a different story because
Hmm.
when you build, you are attracted maybe from a post. The post that you are attracted to or anything is what you're gonna initially be attracted to. Now, all the trust like thing, it may happen later on,
Right.
but most of the time, if people are truly looking for something, this is another thing. I don't really get with, and Mark Harbour said this on the training Tuesday. Women shop. You know how they always talking about people don't buy on the first thing they see.
Hmm.
I think I'm just not trying to be sexist or misogynistic, but I think that came from some woman who said that. I'm gonna go back Christmas time. We're heading into the silly season right now. Okay.
Hmm.
My dad, when I was younger, would take me shopping with him, and he go, men, especially Christmas time. That's where they'll go. Christmas Eve, because they know specifically what the hell they want to get. Okay? They're looking for something specific. Women don't do that. This is the psychology of all this stuff. Women go and shop. This is the whole thing of, well, people don't buy on the first thing. I think that was geared towards a female, and I think a female was probably one that said that. Men, on the other hand, if they truly looking for something specific that they want online and they find it, they're gonna buy.
Right.
Okay? They're gonna buy. Ain't got nothing to do. Well, they gotta trust. They don't give a shit about who you are if they read the advertisement or the marketing thing, and it meets a specific need or solve a specific problem in their business or whatever, they're gonna pull out the credit card. They got no time to waste no time with you. Why they need to? Because they know what they're looking for. Okay. If they seen an ad, this is what is important for marketing stuff online. Because if they're looking for something specific, they're gonna pull out the credit card and buy it. Now I don't know about some men, but I'm just on most men I'm at. I think to me, I think that whole concept and specific comes from a woman's perspective. And there's too many men out here now. I mean, I'm not trying to down women, but there was something on just recently talking about how we're trying to turn men into bitches. Okay? Trying to turn them and feminize women. There's a thing going on that's trying to feminize women. It was on TV. Hey, I'm not me saying it. That's just exactly what they said. And I see some things now, and I remember Drew said this too. He said there's a thing going on. It's trying to feminize masculinity, and they're talking about when a boy wants to be, boy likes action things. They're trying to tell him that's wrong. He's a male. That's his hormone. Okay, that's the problem that we're running into with all this other stuff that's going on in the market. This sexual identity, and people are trying to know everything ain't so progressive where you're going against what the nature, the thing of nature is. People stop trying to be so damn with it and trying to tell men they can't, or men they can't be men, or boys they can't be boys. That's their hormonal natural thing to do. You just got, and I don't know what the problem is. This is why I think this is why we got all this type of shit on TV that we see now. They pushing.
Oh, this is, yeah. We could do a whole show on this, but especially to me, in my opinion, it seems like a lot of young black men are I don't know if I want to say falling for it or susceptible to changing or being a willing participant to be emasculated. I just I'm like I see some of these commercials, and and I'm just like, wow, really? I mean, I know, I know people who are free to choose whoever you want to love. You can do that. I get that, but it just seems like a certain group. And yes, and I will say this, it seems like black males are seem to be picked on because, man, if you choose to be a man and stand up to be a man, you're almost cured in certain media aspects. And I'm like, what's the problem?
There's a show on HBO right now. It's called We're Here. And it talks about that very same thing. And, in the Latin community, that was very much looked down upon because of all their Catholic beliefs and stuff. And that's a lot of that stuff is happening also in that community. See, and that I think that's done, especially amongst those groups of people, because there's a fear base of the Latin and the black male. Because if you look at both communities and both everything, there's a correlation between the two that's similar. Okay, and there's a
Mm-hmm.
fear base. So the way to control that fear is to demasculate them. You know, they tried doing the killing thing. You know, they tried to do that. Now it's about demasculation of the black and
Mm-hmm.
brown male to control that type of thing. They're always trying to do something for something they fear. And then we use it as a legitimate things to say, oh, well, this is love. Well, no, it ain't love. And love ain't always love. You know, I hear this whole slogan, well, love is love. No, it ain't always love. Some of it's just sex. And that's just that's in the heterosexual communities also. That we
Mm-hmm.
need to be learning how to discern certain things and quit jumping the board shit cause some political and worried about them doing the cancel culture. But man, fuck y'all in that cancel thing.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't worried about no damn cancel.
Mm-hmm.
I don't answer to you motherfuckers no way. I ain't
Right.
working for nobody for I don't go, cancel. Cancel this. People worry
Right.
about too many damn things like that and don't
Mm-hmm.
discern a lot of stuff, and it's hurting communities. And this ain't got nothing to do with religion, because fuck religion. Religion is another problematic thing I can talk about also that's caused problems. But
Mm-hmm.
hey, remember Andrew Dice Clay?
Yeah. Yeah.
He had a back in the early 90s when he was coming out, he had this skit. And he was talking about the gay community. And I'm trying to think what he said. It was crazy. He said,
Okay.
He said, you either are male or female, or you are this or that. But if you, he said, there's no such thing as bisexual. He said, if you, you're that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
if you can go
Mm-hmm.
look that up on YouTube, any of his old stuff, it's just crazy. You start thinking back about some of the things and then relate it to today. Because a lot of people who were born in the 90s probably don't know who he is.
I
You know?
know, right?
And we talk about some people that they're way over their head. Way over their head. All right, I'm gonna get away. We've been on here an hour and a half. People, we always here on Sunday night. Last Sunday, Halloween. Going into November, we're going into the silly season, folks. Like I said, we're gonna be live for the next 3 Sundays
Mm-hmm.
of November. Next Sunday is the 7th. Then we got the 14th, and the last one, the 21st. We're gonna take a break for the holidays. We'll be back probably the first Sunday after New Year's, whenever that is. Well, that's right. New Year's is on Saturday this year, ain't it?
On a Saturday, I think. Yeah, I
Yeah,
think.
so it's gonna probably be it'll be that and probably the second or the second of January. I don't if I right, I think we'll be back around the 2nd of January. It's gonna be that first Sunday after New Year. We'll be back. So next Sunday we'll be on the 7th, 14th, and then the 21st. After that, we're gonna take a break to the first of the year. Try to run some reruns of some of this year's shows. Gotta take a break just like everybody else. Gotta refuel, spend time with family,
Mm-hmm.
friends, and stuff. Because I need a break. Can't need a break. We all need a break. Contrary to what you think that we are just working from home. Even when you're working from home, you need a break. It takes time to put all this stuff
Yeah,
together, to mark it out,
exactly.
and all that kind of stuff. So we working. So, like I always said, at the end of my show, don't let these jobs put you in an early grave because corporate plantation don't care. Stress level go up, heart attack rate go up because it's Sunday night. You drop dead at your desk or home, they'll replace you with your job in the paper before your obituary comes, and they just don't care. That's just how they roll, people. They don't care. So, with that being said, we're here every Sunday night, 7 o'clock. My name is Greg Smith. This is his business partner. Where
Kent Robertson.
Kent Robertson. He's over here somewhere. But
Yeah.
friend of business partner, I know since two. You know what? I saw a post that said, I had a picture, I guess I did. Is it 2007 it's 14 years ago? Damn.
Yeah, soon will be.
Damn, 2007 was 14 years ago.
Yep.
I've been gone from Time Warner 12 years, I guess so. Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
That being said, people, peace. Have a great rest of your Halloweeny. We'll see you next Sunday. Have a great, healthy rest of your week. And we are, I say, hasta luego. We're out. Take care.
All right. Take care, everybody.